If you're unsure whether to use adhesive vinyl or printable vinyl with your Cricut machine, don't worry, because in this video we'll break down the key differences between both, highlight their pros and cons, and explain exactly when to use each for different types of Cricut projects. So what exactly is adhesive vinyl? This is a composite material that commonly comes in 12-inch by 12-inch sheets. They can be a lot of different colors, and this is not to be printed on, okay? It is a vinyl on the front and a removable backing sheet with glue on the back. So we're gonna go through this with our Cricut Explore 3. You can also use any similar cutting machine or Cricut machine. They all work perfectly fine, but with Cricut you need to use Design Space. So this is our Royal Elements Variety Adhesive Vinyl. A lot of brands are slightly different, and ours are 3 mil thick and weed very nicely. They come with both glossy and matte finishes. And then we're also going to need some transfer tape. Okay, this will be so once we cut out the adhesive vinyl, we'll transfer it. And we're going to use one of these light grip cutting mats. Light grip tends to be the best. Now, there's two main finishes, both matte and glossy. Matte does not have a reflective surface. Sometimes people like that, and it's good for certain projects. Doesn't pick up as much dust. Glossy has a more reflective and shiny surface, and this is a very popular option for most people. So in Cricut Design Space, we're going to get started. You're going to need to pick a pattern. I'm going to go with this lion, and we're going to cut this out on our Cricut machine. So I'm going to hit add to canvas. We're going to start a new project, and this is the decal that will be cut out, and this is how the finished product will look. So I'm going to reduce the image size. You can see at the bottom there, it looks about 3 inches by 3 inches. So you want to keep in mind the size of your decal. We're going to be cutting this out on and putting it on a laptop. So we're going to save the project in case you want to come back to it later or adjust it or make any changes. From here, we're going to be prompted with a new window. We can cut it without a mat, on a mat, or on a card mat. We're going to select on mat, 12-inch by 12-inch, because that's our vinyl size, and we're going to hit continue. We're going to cut this out on our light grit mat, and now what we see is we can move the decal cutout around on the actual vinyl, and we could mirror it, but we don't need to do this. It's going to be transferred and look exactly how the image is in the case of adhesive vinyl. So I'll hit continue, and then we'll want to connect our Cricut Explore 3. This is what we're working with, and then we're going to make sure our Bluetooth is on and we're good to go. So that's perfect. We're going to hit continue. Next, we are going to want to pay attention to the base material. There's different types of vinyl material, smart vinyl, and then regular premium vinyl, either matte or glossy. So in this case, we're using permanent glossy. So that is what we will select. Next, we can adjust the pressure, and we can load the tools and materials, but we shouldn't have to do anything other than put our glossy permanent adhesive vinyl on our light grip Cricut mat. Make sure it is roughly placed right there in the center and aligned, and then we're going to bump it up to those rubber wheels, the gray wheels on each side, to make sure it is ready to get fed in and feed the vinyl through, making sure this is on a flat surface with plenty of room in front and behind so it does not get jammed or misaligned. Now, depending on the Cricut machine you have, after you press go, there are slight differences. So the Cricut Explore Air 2 is a bit of an older model. It doesn't cut as fast. It doesn't cut as accurately. And so every newer model tends to do a bit better. So our Cricut Explore 3 cuts quickly and is really well adjusted. Never had any issues with it. A Cricut Explore 4 might do even better, and a Cricut Maker is also a really good option. So once the vinyl is cut, we're going to release it, and you can see now the glimpses of an outline of Mr. Lion. Okay, so we are going to weed this material. With adhesive vinyl, you have to weed it, okay? With printable vinyl, that is not the case. But first, I want to make sure, okay, our transfer tape cutout will fit over the vinyl. I don't have a weeding tool, so I'm going to use a pocket knife. But initially, and just for demonstration purposes, we're only doing this single cutout. I know in the comments people get upset with me when I waste all this vinyl, but I don't want to take all day for you guys. I want this to be quick and to the point. So we are going to weed this by hand, meaning remove the excess vinyl that is not to be cut out. You could absolutely save the rest and cut out different corners multiple times, but I don't want it to be a distraction. So I'm just going to have it removed all the way through. Now we are weeding. So we are in the process of removing the excess vinyl. So if you remember that image of the lion, it had very intricate details, and so we want to make sure we capture all those details, remove the excess vinyl, take our time here, and do it right. There are some floating bits that you will see later on that are quite difficult to get right, so don't be in a rush. Make sure you're on a flat surface and you take your time. All right, so let's quickly run through the pros and cons of using adhesive vinyl. Starting with the pros, we do not require printing. All right, so with adhesive vinyl, there is no printing involved. You don't need a printer, and it is just cutting the vinyl pattern. So the durability also tends to be higher than printable vinyl or printable sticker paper, and you don't need a lot of additional support to place these decals outside as bumper stickers on mailboxes or anything where the elements will be exposed to your decal. Another pro of adhesive vinyl is it has a wide range of applications. It's perfect for everything from bumper stickers, mugs, glassware, anything that has a smooth, non-porous surface that can stick to a decal. Another pro would be that there's no sealing required. You don't need laminating sheets. You do not need spray, okay? So once your decal is put on with adhesive vinyl, it's good to go. There's nothing else, no maintenance, nothing else required. There is a few cons, however. You're limited to solid colors, okay? You can't print fine details. It's only a single color. And so you can't do multicolored, intricate designs. So if you're looking to like print out a photo or something, unfortunately, it's impossible with adhesive vinyl. Okay, another con with adhesive vinyl is that weeding is required. With printable vinyl, you can just print out the shape and cut out the general shape, but with adhesive vinyl, the whole idea is that it needs to be weeded, okay? And unfortunately, one of the biggest cons of adhesive vinyl is that you absolutely need a cutting machine. You cannot cut this out by yourself with an X-Acto knife or anything. It has to be professionally done with these patterns. So that's a little bit about adhesive vinyl. Let's now move on to my personal favorite, printable vinyl sticker paper. So with Royal Elements, we have a few different options. First, we have matte white printable vinyl sticker paper. This is for both inkjet and laser printers, although it says only inkjet on the packaging. It looks like a normal sheet of paper, but it has an adhesive backing that you can cut out and peel off. For clear, this is a great option for transferring on white surfaces. Although the sticker paper itself does look a bit translucent, once it gets on a white surface, it looks very painted on, which is a big pro. So glossy is also another great option. Very high resolution, very crisp and reflective, which gives it that nice clean look. Laminating sheets are definitely a necessity for outdoor use, and we also offer those. So inside of our design space, we're going to start a new project, and for printable vinyl, it needs to be different than adhesive vinyl. Remember, this is not a single color. This is a full multi-step printout that can be printed basically like a regular sheet of paper, except on a different material. So we're going to reduce that file size. I like to duplicate these. Cutting them out in Cricut is really fun, and it doesn't take a lot of extra effort. There's no weeding involved, right? The cutting machine just does its thing. So I'm going to add 4 of these cute wolves to cut out. Now, pay close attention to this next step. This is how printable vinyl is different. You need to hit flatten. If you don't hit this, it's going to treat it as a strange adhesive vinyl cutout, and it's going to mutate your poor wolf. So we're going to save this title so you can come back to it, and we are going to start this project up. And this is a similar setup to adhesive vinyl, but with some big key differences. So we're going to make sure this is the correct size, 8.5 by 11 inch sheets. Be very careful. Some printable vinyl is different size, such as European A4, which would be taller and skinnier. So the steps are: print it out, put it through the cutting machine, and then peel it off. But before we hit print, we actually need to do one thing, and that is to remove the copy paper. We're using a Color LaserJet Pro in this case. We're going to take out a single piece of printable vinyl, the printed side up, although it's different for every printer. And now we're ready to go and hit print, verify that print quality, and then let the printer do its thing. So this is a laser printer. This is our matte printable vinyl by Royal Elements, and that's how it turns out with those cut lines so that we can feed it in the Cricut machine. So once we put it on our Cricut matte, we can feed it in and Cricut can work its magic. So let's talk about the pros and cons of printable vinyl. So one of the main pros is you can print full color designs for intricate details without needing to layer. In the case with adhesive vinyl, you need to have multiple layered cuts to get multiple colors. You don't need to do that with printable vinyl. Another huge pro of printable vinyl is it's very customizable. You can literally print and cut photos, turn them into stickers, designs, images, anything really that you can think of. You can dream it up and print it out. It's also great for smaller items like stickers, laptop decals, and other intricate items. However, there are some cons with printable vinyl. Namely being, it's in the name, it requires a printer, okay? With adhesive vinyl, there's no printing, there's fewer steps, and you don't need a printer. But with printable vinyl, sticker paper, you do, okay? Printable vinyl tends also not to be as durable. It can fade over time if not sealed with sealant spray or laminating sheets. And then another big con would be printer compatibility issues. Some customers have issues with inkjet ink in particular running and causing issues. So another con would be if it's going to be outdoors, it absolutely needs to be sealed. It's not like adhesive vinyl. We can just kind of set it and forget it. And so those would be the main cons there. Now, with that all being said, both printable vinyl and adhesive vinyl can tear, as you're seeing here. So you're going to want to be careful. You might want to choose a thicker vinyl if at all possible. So a quick recap: adhesive vinyl, solid colors, no printing, it's more durable, although you do need weeding and you need a cutting machine. With printable vinyl, it's multicolored. You do need a printer, although it is less durable. You don't need to weed, but a sealant is required. Hope this video helps. Thanks for watching.